On a rencontré Hilary Montag dans un parc à Melbourne. Jeune Australienne qui s'engage activement contre le réchauffement climatique, elle nous a parlé de son parcours.
So a few years ago, I kind of was at university and kept hearing about climate change. It was like everything. It was all over the news. It kind of kept coming into my studies. But I didn't really understand it all that well. I knew that it was going to be incredibly dangerous and would shape a lot of my life. And every expert kept talking about how this was the most serious existential problem humanity ever faced. And I could read a lot about it. I understood how greenhouse gases work. I understood like rising sea levels and rising temperatures, but I didn't really feel like I could properly have a full understanding of what climate change was. So I decided to go to the front lines to see it myself. I lived in Nepal for about 2.5 months, doing earthquake recovery. Spent a few weeks in Bangladesh working or interviewing people who had worked in Bangladeshi team for the Paris conference and learning for them what adaptation to climate change meant. And in Bangladesh there's just such an understanding that climate change is happening now and it's real, and their political leaders are working towards fixing that, and as a result Bangladesh is extraordinarily prepared. And it makes me really angry thinking about that in Australia, because we don't see that and our political leaders just refuse to take climate change seriously. So yeah, it's like we're talking now about, building the biggest coal mine in Australia's history. It would be the biggest coal mine in the Southern Hemisphere. And it's like we know everything that we know about climate change, and you still seriously want to build the biggest coal mine in the Southern Hemisphere? It's like, it's stupid, but it's reckless and it's dangerous. So after I got back from this big trip overseas, I was determined to try and do more about the environment, and it was something I was really passionate about. And now I work for an organisation called the Australian Youth Climate Coalition. It's Australia's biggest youth-led and run organisation. So it's dedicated to teaching people, young people, about climate change, but more than that, helping them become active on political issues around climate change. And yeah, we have over 1,000 young volunteers all around the country who are talking about climate change in their communities and educating their community, talking with their politicians and trying to make sure that we actually move forward on climate change. And over the last year, I wrote a thesis on why the Great Barrier Reef should be given legal personality. So what that means is not all legal people aren't just humans. So it's things like corporations, some organisations, churches even sometimes, are considered legal people. And when you're a legal person, you have certain legal rights. So you can go to court to make sure that your legal rights are upheld. So what I was arguing in this thesis was that legal personality should be extended to include nature, and in Australia that should primarily be done for the Great Barrier Reef, which is the greatest and biggest marine ecosystem in the world. It's the biggest coral reef system in the world, and yet 50% of the coral in it is dead as a result of climate change and rising temperatures. It's in a really dire situation at the moment, and yeah, I think it's time that we really start thinking about giving it legal personality. The only way to recover the reef completely is basically to stop global warming. Rising temperature and ocean acidification are the main threats to the reef, and the only way to stop that is if we keep fossil fuels in the ground, we stop burning them, and we make a concentrated effort to lower carbon emissions. It's literally the only way to save something like the Great Barrier Reef. Coral reefs are like the alarm system for your house if someone's breaking in. It's the first thing that goes off that tells you something's not right here. The reason I do the work that I do, and the reason I care so much about it, is because young people today will inherit whatever we leave them. I'm still quite young, I'm 25, but yeah, I can have a really active role in shaping what the future is going to look like, and I would like more young people to realise that they don't have to wait till they're older to take a really active role in saving the earth and making sure that climate change doesn't get any worse than it currently is. And if we do wait any longer, it's only going to get worse, and we're the ones who are going to have to live in it. So what I would like to leave for future generations is a sense of action. More than anything, I just want us to do the job. We can't wait on anyone else, we can't rely on anyone else to do it for us. It has to be us. So do it.